Well, welcome to another lesson of the Focus on Agility CMS course. I am Marcelo Lund, the Headless Creator. As always, get a hold of me right there, Marcelo at headlesscreator.com. Today, my guest presenter is Harmony Poirier. She's a digital marketing manager at Agility CMS. You're going to learn more about her in just a minute. We'll bring her in and have a chat with her. But she's going to talk to us about 5 tools inside of Agility CMS and how authors can use that to bring in more efficiency when they're managing the content. Now, having said that, let's bring on Harmony. Harmony, welcome.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Glad to have you here. We chatted a lot over email. It was the first time we get to see each other. This is the new world. This is how we do it, right? Not in person anymore. But welcome. I'm glad to have you here. Thank you for doing this. Real quick, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're a digital marketing manager, but how did you get into tech and into doing that?
Yeah, so this is really, with Agility, my first position working in tech. Prior to this, I was working as a SEO specialist. So it really kind of like fused together in terms of like, working with content and being able to have more control as you learn the CMS industry. So it's been an interesting game, a lot to learn, but it's been a lot of fun.
Very cool. And now you got cut off there a little bit. I guess the internet, maybe it's the internet gods aren't playing with us today, but that's okay. We'll work around that. So you got into tech, and how did you get into like the headless industry? You went into agility, but what interested you in that, or was it just in general the tech that just gave you the interest?
Yeah, I think Headless CMS, in marketing, we're kind of taught the open source traditional CMS. So it was interesting learning about a solution where marketers could have more control over their content. So that's kind of what piqued my interest when I was getting into it.
I see. Very cool. Now, I know we spoke a little bit, and you mentioned that you are a dog mom. Is that what you called yourself?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about that, and then tell me what kind of dog do you have?
Yeah.
Or
So
dogs?
I have 2 dogs. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm negotiating for 3 soon.
Oh boy.
So I have my little guy, Merlin. I call him my baby, and then I call the bigger one my dog. So they very much act within those roles. The little one's a Boston Jack mix, and then the bigger one is our rescue, and he's just a Australian Shepherd mix from Texas.
Oh, our first dog when with my wife that we had was an Australian Shepherd. We called her Belle.
Aww.
Yeah. So it was a mix too,
Yeah.
mix Australian. Yeah, definitely. That's very cool. So you want to get a third one?
Eventually, I'm hoping to get a bigger place just so we can get a 3rd dog.
I see. Very cool. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and show your slides here, and I'm going to let you get started. Just a reminder for those of you watching live, feel free to put in the chat any questions you may have for Harmony. Harmony, any questions come up, I will jump in, but otherwise, it's all you.
Beautiful. So yeah, we'll just go through the top authoring tools in Agility CMS. Those 5 being the fact that SEO fields are built into the platform. It also enables editors to do URL redirects, and then templates and modules, which really structure the page that you're building, and then the rich text editor as well. So we'll just switch into the Agility interface now. So when I'm talking about SEO fields built in, I'll show you an example with a page here. So as you're scrolling down here, you'll see you have control over your H1, which is the main title that you have on your page. And then your meta title, which shows up on SERP as well. And then the URL as well. I know a lot of SEOs like having control over their URL just for ranking purposes. And I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller so I can get over to my SEO screen here. And I'll zoom in later. So then under the SEO tab here, you also have control over your meta description and your meta keywords. So when I do meta keywords, I'll just do word in a list. And then up here as well, something that's fun to be able to have control over is whether or not you want it to show up on your sitemap. So if you want it to be indexed by Google, sometimes you just want to create a landing page, but you don't want it to be indexed by Google because there's not enough content on it to really rank. So you can just do always false, which is super easy. Yeah. And then I guess I'll show you the URL redirects as well.
Real quick question on the SEO fields. So those are all built in. We didn't have to create a content model for that. That's built in as part of the page.
Correct. Yeah.
I see. Okay. And do you know, and you may know me, you may not know, can they be extended? Can we add more fields to the SEO, or do we have to do that in a separate content type?
I believe you'd have to add it separately.
Separately. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Of course. So URL redirects are another feature that is really important for SEOs as well, because you're constantly unpublishing content, and when you link to it, it's all over your page. You don't really know where it is. It takes a lot of work to try and find it and unlink it. So instead, the easy solution is just to do your URL redirect. So you can see an example here where we redirected Agility CMS /blog to resources post because we created a new section. And we can do an example here. We'll do new. I'll go /example. And so this is, for instance, something that I unpublished. And so if I didn't create this URL redirect, I'd be getting a 404 error, which contributes to poor site health. So I want to reroute it to example 2. And then you just do save, and it's good to go. And then when you want to test it, I won't publish that because it's not real. But so for this one here, where I was giving an example where it's already done, we can click it here and just do a little test to make sure it's still working. Perfect. So it says 1 item's passed. If it's not working and it's failed, then it'll show that as well.
Would it show like a 404, like it didn't find it if it didn't pass, or it's just a pass or fail on that? Do you know?
It's just a pass fail.
Okay, and then you have to figure out. Now, can you do redirects to external sites, or do they have to exist as a page inside of Agility CMS? So if you want to redirect the page to some other landing page that is not hosted inside of Agility.
So this is exclusively for our pages.
Internal. Got it.
Yeah, it's all internal. Yeah.
Okay, so the page has to exist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So pretty easy. It's a pretty fun tool to use. So in terms of templates, this is something that is typically built by your developers or implementation partners. We have some as well. So the big difference is it kind of creates the framework for how you put your page together. So whether you want it in one big column or in 2 columns, that kind of creates the framework. And then you add your pieces of content, your modules within it. So it's kind of the structure for your building blocks. So this is where the developers would build it. I won't show you that because that's not.
Well, we have an entire lesson on that. They can look at the Focus on Agility CMS that we have some lessons on building these templates and working with your developer and how to put it together.
So when we go to create a new page, I'll show you the 2-column template. We'll call it example. And so then this is where you add the modules, which is the other feature that I was discussing.